I am setting forth the intention that the people who wish to be in this space, either live or on the replay, want to learn about Aries season. And that means Aries itself, Aries, the new moon that just barely happened, and a little bit about Pluto entering Aquarius. So if that is you, feel free to stick around, maybe grab a piece of paper. This is an excellent time to be thinking about your new moon intentions, because the new moon literally just happened at 12:23 p.m. Central Standard Time. So welcome if that is you. If you are joining us, whether you're watching this live or on the replay on YouTube or my other social media channels, please tell me in the comments where you're joining from. And if you know your sun, moon, or rising, let me know that as well. My name is Sarah. I am a mom. I am an astrologist. My greatest passion is to help people understand their energies. When I was a 7th grade remedial reading teacher, I helped kids feel comfortable to read because they read 2 or 3 grade levels below. And the first thing that I had to do is get them comfortable with themselves. It's really no different than what I do with astrology. In astrology, we have 10 planets that are in the universe, and those planets have energies associated with them. And every moon cycle, I share when the moon changes sign on my social media so that you understand your emotions, because the moon is your emotional base. Today is the first of 2 Aries new moons. This is a normal one. The next one is going to be in an eclipse. So this one is really, 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 really good for manifesting and for making intentions. The next new moon, you kind of just have to roll with it, is the gist with eclipse. You don't really have the way, because it's chaotic energy with the eclipse, and I'll go and I'll do another live for that so that you can know that too. So let's talk Aries first. And I have notes, so if you see me looking down, it's because I like to make sure that I share the right things. I am a Libra sun, an Aquarius moon, and a Taurus rising. So that means I like harmony and balance. In my age, I have learned not to be a doormat, because sometimes that is the low road of Libra, is you try to accommodate for everybody and then you put yourself last. An Aquarius moon, the high road for that is community, friendship. Low road can sometimes be distancing yourself emotionally and not tapping into those emotions. Those are both air signs, so I talk a lot and I talk fast, and if I don't write things down, I forget what I want to say. So if you see me looking down, it's just because I'm looking for what I want to say. I ask that whether you're watching this live here or on any of the replays, if you have questions about what I'm saying, please feel free to drop them in the comments. I'm happy to respond to those, especially about the astrology. If you are interested in getting my emails, where the replays will also happen along with some extra anecdotal, that's a word, right? Information, check out the link in any one of my bios on any of my socials. There's an email newsletter sign up, and when it's your birthday month, I do have a special gift for you. So if you are an Aries sun, and I saw that there was one in our comments, I think it's Caitlin who's giving me all the likes right now, you do have the opportunity to get a birth chart reading from me, a solar return chart reading, or both, at a birthday rate, and that's also on my website as well. So welcome. Let's take a calming breath, because Aries is a lot of energy. So let's do it again. Breathe with me. Breathe in, hold it at the top, breathe it out. One more time, everybody. Breathe it in, hold it at the top, breathe it out. All right, so let's talk about Aries first. So Aries is a cardinal fire sign. What in the world does that mean? We have 3 modes in astrology, and cardinal brings in all the seasons. So yesterday, on March 20th, was the spring equinox. And that started off our Aries new year, because Aries is the first sign of the zodiac. And it started off our first season in the northern hemisphere of spring. The next one is Cancer, is the next cardinal one, and that starts summer. Libra starts fall, and Capricorn starts winter. So those are the 4 cardinal signs. If you have personal planets that are in Aries, Cancer, Libra, or Capricorn, during this moon cycle, the moon is going to do different things. It's going to be opposite. It's going to be what we call squaring, which is a 90-degree angle. So you might feel different energies more than just the normal collective. When I share these advice, please feel free to ask questions. I try very hard to put things in normal words because I am a Taurus rising, and I believe if it's not practical, it's not very useful. So if that's okay with you, please put yes in the comments. So with Aries being the first of the fire signs, it can be very enthusiastic. It can be very brave, spontaneous, optimistic. It can be very creative. It wants to be the leader. Aries in general wants to be the leader. And where it is in your chart is where you want those things in your life. And we'll talk a little bit more about that in a second. It is passionate because Aries is ruled by Mars. Mars is the planet of our passions. It's what makes us angry, it makes us passionate, it makes us do all of the things. And it can be feisty, reactive, pushy, impulsive, explosive. And if you feel like any of those things resonate with you, let me know. An example of how I see Aries in real life was yesterday. Yesterday, shortly after the moon or the sun moved into Aries, it was so funny. My husband came downstairs. I was sitting in my chair and I was just reading a book. And all of a sudden he started circling around the coffee table, walking around it, just walking around it. I'm like, what are you doing? And his words were, I need to move my body. I just need to move my body. We live in Minnesota. The roads are not really great, especially close to dusk, because they're icy and it's hard to see. And the malls here close at 7 o'clock during the week, and he just needed to move his body. That, as a parent and an astrologer, if you are a parent and you have kids, having them move their body, especially if they have strong Aries placements, is critical. And that's true for all the fire signs. Having them move their body, having them move their energy helps them expand the energy, because Aries will explode if it's not able to be moved in appropriate ways. Does that make sense to people? Please let me know in the comments if this is resonating with any of you. Aries, if you have low fire, like if you don't feel like you have any fire in your chart, some of the things that you can do to make that spark come alive is movement. Just like I just talked about. It could be dance. It could be listening to music and dancing. Play. Think of Leo. Leo is all about play. Aries wants to play too. It just might be a little bit more competitive about it. Wearing colors like orange and red to just brighten things up. Even if you put red on your fingernails. Mine are green right now because St. Patrick's Day just happened. But the next color I'm going to get is going to be a deep red, and that's normally what I wear. Spicy food can also help activate if you have low fire. If you have too much fire, breath work. Oh, I'm glad you definitely feel the fire as an Aries. Breath work can help. So we started off our talk with just breathing in and then breathing out. And when you intentionally breathe in and you intentionally breathe out, it soothes your nervous system. One of my mentors taught us this breath work of you breathe in, you hold it at the top, and then you let it out all at once. So it's like this. Do that 3 times and you will start to feel your body start to calm down. And sometimes you just need to do that, especially if you're agitated. Slowing down can be hard if you're an Aries, especially if you're an Aries sun, moon, or rising. But that might be needed if you need to calm down that fire a little bit. I slow down because I talk fast because of all the air and fire. They really like each other. I mean, think of bonfires. So if you see me grabbing something, I'm grabbing my little tortoise here, It's made of a spotted obsidian. And it just helps me feel more centered. So whatever you need to do to feel more centered also helps too. What else? Doing yin yoga, drinking lavender, all of these things can help you calm down if you need to. This is especially important for parents who have children with Aries sun, moon, or risings. Bedtime could be a challenge over this next month. Think about it. If it's already a challenge, what are some of the other things that you can do to help them calm themselves down? Maybe a bath might help because it will help ground them. Maybe having some snuggles, because that also is really grounding. Maybe having them pick out their favorite story, and it could be even The Tortoise and the Hare for that matter, and just reading and trying to calm down their nervous system so they can slow themselves down a little bit too. Please let me know if any of this makes sense or you find helpful in the comments. So the next thing I want to share is there's a big event happening here on Thursday, the 23rd. And you may have heard other astrologers, if you follow them, talking about it. It's about Pluto moving into Aquarius. Now, Pluto is very much an outer planet. So for most people, you will only hear, thank you for the follows. For most people, you will only hear about Pluto, or where you're going to see it most often is in the headlines, because it is very much a collective generational type planet. We have 10 planets, as I talked about, in our solar system. The sun, the moon, Venus, Mars, and Mercury. These are what we call personal planets. They move the fastest and they affect us the most. When you do a parent-child reading with me, what I focus on when I'm reading your child's chart are those 5. Because for the most part, they're pretty young and they're still developing all the rest. We have 2 social planets called Jupiter, and it just expands everything. And we have Saturn, which is the great teacher, and you learn those lessons. For those of you who have Saturn in Pisces, last week, was it last week or the week before? It was right around the new moon. No, it was around the full moon, so 2 weeks ago. Saturn moved into Pisces. So if you have Saturn in Pisces in your natal chart, you're having your Saturn return this year. It's a great time to consult with an astrologer if you do. Likewise, if you have Saturn in Gemini, Virgo, or Sagittarius, talking with an astrologer to help figure out what's going on in your life, or if you have personal planets, those 4 or 5, the 5 that I mentioned at the beginning, in Pisces, you might be feeling Saturn just a little bit more. And so talking with an astrologer to help you navigate that energy might be soothing. Planet Pluto is what we call a planet that transforms small things to big and big things to small. Typically, there's lots of transformation if Pluto is hitting different parts of your chart that are significant, like any of your angles, or if they're in or on a personal planet. Okay, so with Pluto entering Aquarius, Aquarius is the sign of community. It's out of the box thinking. It's your friends. What we're seeing already in the headlines is technology might be changing and evolving. There's talk about TikTok going away or changing or evolving. There's talk about different world leaders and communities rising up to make it better for them. All of those things we're seeing in the headlines now. You might see more of them as Pluto dips his toe into Aquarius. Now, this is only a preview of what the Aquarius season is. This is a generational planet. So we are only getting a little hint of what it is before he pops back out in June. So during this time period between March and June 11th, March 23rd, June 11th, we're going to see and maybe experience some of those themes of Pluto being in this sign. Then in 2024, he's there for 20 years, and it marks a new generation. I'm Generation X. Most of the people in my generation have Pluto in Leo. I have Pluto in Libra. Saturn was in Leo. All right, so if you know your rising sign, or you know where 0 degrees of Aquarius is, I'm about to share with you what the themes might be for you during this time period. And again, this is more of a collective thing unless you have personal planets there. If you don't know how to do your chart, or you don't know what a chart looks like, this is what a chart looks like. I'm going to tell you what these pieces of the pie, what they symbolize. It's called Horoscopes. If you go to the freebie in my bio, it teaches you how to create your own chart. It also has what the houses mean in general terms and what the signs mean. And it's completely free on my website. So, by rising sign, with Pluto moving into Aquarius on March 23rd through June 11th, and it's really only dipping its toe in it, like 0 degrees for the longest time, because it moves very slowly. It does take 20 years to go through. To put it in perspective, the last time Pluto was in Aquarius was the Revolutionary War in the United States and the French Revolution. Okay? It's that long. So if you have an Aries rising or 0 degrees Aquarius is in the 11th house, the themes you might encounter are friends with influence, alliances, your hopes and dreams, social media, personal and professional networks, unions, mentors, and that what supports you. If you have a Taurus rising or 0 degrees Aquarius is in your 10th house, your reputation, profession, actions, relationships with authority, your father and their family, your destiny, and your ambitions. Gemini rising or 0 degrees Aquarius in the 9th house, higher education, divination, foreign travel, religion, astrology, divine masculine, and your ability to grow, adapt, and learn. Cancer rising or 0 degree Aquarius in the 8th house, investment, other people's money, debt, topics concerning death, psychology, taxes, fears, transformation, and the occult. Leo rising or 0 degrees in 7th house, committed relationships, contracts. So we're looking for transformation in these areas. Is just a reminder of what Pluto does. Your job, pets, self-improvement, and things that are obligated to. Libra rising or 0 degrees of Aquarius in the 5th house could be themes with the children, pleasure, romance, dating, sexuality, things that you desire, creative arts, love affairs, the way that you are entertained by close friends and lovers. Scorpio rising or 0 degrees Aquarius in 4th house is about family, home life, land, ancestors, private self, your emotion foundations, gains from hidden sources, your mother and your mother's family. Sagittarius rising or 0 degree Aquarius in your 3rd house is communication, divination, short distance travel, your neighborhood, writing, your immediate environment, siblings, and cousins. Capricorn rising or 0 degrees Aquarius in your 2nd house, the themes would be around money, possessions, resources, and how you make a living, and things that you value. And Aquarius rising, 0 degrees Aquarius in the 1st house is self-awareness, your identity, appearance, personality, the way you view yourself, character, primary motivation, your body, your health, and your vitality. And last but not least, Pisces rising 0 degrees Aquarius in the 12th house. The themes would be around mental health, subconscious, the ways you self-sabotage, isolate yourself, hidden enemies, transcendence, or spiritual liberation. So those are the themes of the houses. Intermixing that with the Aquarius themes of community, out-of-the-box thinking, and you're kind of melding the two. And again, this is a collective transit because it's generational. You may not feel it personally unless it falls over one of your personal planets. For example, I don't even know if it's going to happen in my lifetime, but I have an Aquarius moon, as I shared at the beginning when I told you my big 3. So Pluto eventually will sit on top of my moon, and then I'm going to have some kind of transformation that will happen because of the moon. And it's going to be probably around, well, where's my chart? So I have Aquarius starting. 0 degrees Aquarius starts in my 10th house. So that's my 10th house. So it's going to be a little bit about my career and a little bit about community. And where my moon is about community. If it gets there in my lifetime. Because remember, it's 20 years from now. It excuse me, it should, because I'm only 47. I would hope that I would be around to the age of 67. So let me know if any of that was helpful. So we started off our live talking about Aries season. I touched on a little bit about Pluto moving into Aquarius. And now let's talk about the Aries New Moon. The Aries New Moon happened at 12:24 or 12:23 p.m. Central Standard Time. And the chart of this new moon has 4 planets in Aries. This gives us the ability to really dive in deep and ask ourselves, what are you passionate about? And if you're taking notes while watching this live or on the replay, I highly recommend you asking yourself and writing down the question, what am I passionate about? What gets me out of the bed every morning? What gets me going and excited and just wants to help move things forward in my life? This is a really great new moon to set those intentions now. Work towards them as we go towards the Libra full moon that will happen in a couple weeks on the 5th of April. The eclipse, you kind of just have to let it wash, but then you can get to really work on it during Taurus season. So what are some of those themes in the Aries new moon? Well, we have the sun and the moon. So the new moon, the sun, the moon, and Neptune are all kind of hanging out together. Neptune invites us to dream. And if you felt really sluggish last week, it's because Neptune was hitting every single planet as it was going through as on their way to Aries. So he felt like a little bit of, I kind of just want to veg out and just overindulge on all the things, screen time, beverages, what have you. That's the kind of things Neptune does. When you do it to excess, that would be considered the low road. The high road would be, how do you help yourself get in touch with your true self and what your true heart desires? So the fact that there is that connection, that conjunction between the sun, moon, and Neptune kind of softens the edges of Aries, because I view Aries as like the fast thing in the world, because it just wants to go and it wants to go now. And Neptune is like, they're going, yeah, what is that dream you really want to cultivate? Yeah, let's figure this out, because Aries gives you the courage to do the hard thing. We have your mind sitting right next to this conjunction as well, with the sun and the moon. And so you have the ability with your Mercury, that's your mind and how you communicate, to really put pen to paper and journal out, what are all the things that inspire you? What are all the things that you really want to accomplish over these next 12 months? And then I encourage you to think backwards. As a teacher, I always knew I had to get my kids to this point. And so what I would always do is, if I want them to be here in June, what do they need to do in May, April, March, and so on, and work it backwards. So what are some of those small steps that you can take to go towards that goal that you really want? And you may have set that goal in January. You may have set it in February and March. You may have thought that goal was no longer available to you. Revisit those goals. It never hurts to look at them. And when you're putting together, make them an affirmation. So when you're making your journal, what I invite you to do is to feel, what is it, write out, how would it feel to have that thing come? What would it look like? I want you to picture your ideal life, whatever that is. Write it all out, and then can you sum it up in a sentence of when you want it to happen? Now, some of these things can happen in a few weeks. Some of these things might take a while. But put it as if you already had it and put an end date on it. One of the things that I do every year is I create, this is a just a map of what I want for my goals. Putting pen to paper activates your right side and your left side. Putting pictures onto a piece of paper, just like that, activates your right side and your left side and makes it whole. And so when you have that ability to make it whole, you're really taking advantage of this Aries new moon. It is really a great idea, if you're watching this live or on the replay, to consider what is it that you want to have for your intention before the moon moves into Taurus. Now, that means you have all of the day today. I'm pulling up my calendar to see when she moves into Taurus. You have all of the day today, all of the day Wednesday, and the morning of Thursday to really consider what is it that you want for your new moon intentions. What is it that you want to bring to life? Because it's springtime, guys. Things are coming to life. Now, there's several feet of snow outside my window because I live in Minnesota, but I know eventually the snow will go away. I keep telling my husband, he's a golfer, he really wants it to go away. So it is really important to really consider those new moon manifestations, especially because this is a really great moon to manifest. So, squaring, so having a little bit of a challenging, how am I going to make this work, is Mars. So Mars is the ruler of this new moon. He's your drive, he's your energy. He's in Gemini. And honestly, I cannot wait for the end of the month because he's going to move into Cancer. Now, Mars doesn't really like Cancer because Mars wants to go, 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 go. And in Gemini, he likes to go, 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 go. But he's been there for 2 years. And we just got out of his retrograde. And a lot of people have felt stuck because of his retrograde. So I'm going to be feeling really glad when he moves into Cancer because it'll just feel like new energy. And by the time our moon gets into Cancer, gets into Gemini, he'll be in Cancer. So it's going to feel very different, totally different energy moving forward. We have a lot of very unique energy that's available to us over these next 30 days. It's your choice, your decision, how you decide to move that energy, use that energy. Let me see, is there anything else I wanted to say? We have also, with this new moon, Venus sextiling Saturn. Venus is the planet of love, what we're excited about, what we value. And she's in her home of Taurus. She absolutely adores being in Taurus. And she's making a beautiful aspect to Saturn, which is that planet. It is a great time to manifest. Thank you for asking that question. Also, it's a great day tonight, Wednesday or Tuesday night, Wednesday night, pulling it in Monday or Thursday rather, putting out your moon water, putting out your crystals if it's warm enough. Some of my crystals I just put on my windowsill because, again, I live in Minnesota. So we have Venus, the planet of love and what you value, talking nicely to Saturn. So this is really a great time to manifest and really put structures into what do you value, what do you love. You have the support of Saturn to really dive deep and figure that out because he is the great teacher. And he's in Pisces, and the way I feel about Saturn and Pisces is Saturn is trying to put form to something that doesn't want to have form. Pisces energy is spiritual. It's like vapor. And could you imagine trying to construct something out of vapor? That's your dream world, right? So I really invite you with this new moon to journal what gets you excited, what makes you happy, what makes you really want to get out of bed in the morning, what do you want to move forward in your life. Also, I invite you to let go of anything that doesn't. A lot of people were talking yesterday about how so many people were interested in cleaning their house. Do that. Move the energy of your house. Even if it's just moving one picture to another space. move that energy. It will change how that feels. Ring bells in your rooms, light candles, whatever you need to do to bring in that energy. That might be a very beautiful way for you to journal out your new moon intentions. So the new moon horoscope is based off of where in your chart your rising sign is. Again, if you don't have a chart like this, you can go to the freebie in the link in my bio. It's one of the first links. And there's instructions there on how you can make your own chart. And I'm about to share what are the rising sign horoscopes for Aries season and this new moon. And I'm going to do them by rising sign. And for those of you that don't use whole sign and use Placidus like I do, because I use the tropical zodiac, where 0 degrees of Aries falls. So listen for that in the recording or right now. So if you have an Aries rising or 0 degrees of Aries is in your first house, this new cycle likely will be about themes of self-awareness, your identity, appearance, personality, and the way you view yourself. Also your primary motivation, your body, your health, and your vitality. If you are a Taurus rising or 0 degrees of Aries is in your 12th house, the themes of this lunation might be about your mental health, the subconscious, the way you sabotage, the ways you isolate yourself, hidden enemies, transcendence, and spiritual liberation. If you are a Gemini rising or 0 degrees of Aries is in your 11th house, it could be having themes around your friends, alliances, hopes and dreams, social media, personal and professional networks, unions, mentors, and of which that support you. If you have a Cancer rising or 0 degrees of Aries is in your 10th house, your reputation, profession, actions, relationships to authority, your father and their family, your destiny, and your ambitions could have themes during this amazing lunation. If you have a Leo rising or 0 degrees of Aries is in your 9th house, those would be themes of higher education, divination, foreign travel, religion, astrology, the divine masculine, your ability to grow, adapt, and learn. Virgo rising or Aries is 0 degrees in your 10th house, which could be about investment, other people's money. Nope, that's wrong. That's 8th house. I changed that in my notes. 8th house would be investments, other people's money, debt, topics concerning death, psychology, taxes, fears, transformation. If you have a Libra rising or Aries is in your 7th house, this is about relationships. And relationships don't always mean romantic. It could be any committed relationship, meaning you and another business partner, or you and your child just doing one-on-one things. Contracts, business partners, and other contractual relationships and open enemies. Scorpio rising or 0 degrees of Aries in your 6th house would be about your physical health, illness, co-workers, your job, pets, self-improvement, and other ways that you feel obligated to. Sagittarius rising or 0 degrees of Aries in your 5th house can be about children, pleasure, dating, sexuality, things that you desire, creative arts, love affairs, the ways that you are entertained, close friends, and lovers. Capricorn rising or 0 degrees of Aries in the 4th house would be about home, family life, land, ancestors, private self, your emotional foundation, gains from hidden sources, your mother and your mother's family. Aquarius rising or 0 degrees of Aries in your 3rd house is communication, divination, short distance travel, your neighborhood, writing, your immediate environment, siblings and cousins. And last but not least, Pisces rising or 0 degrees of Aries in your 2nd house could be about money, possessions, resources, and how you make a living and things you value. So then again, those are themes that could relate to the intentions that you are considering about planting right now with the Aries new moon. So this is the new moon intention activation spread. I asked 6 questions of the oracle cards that I'm working with, and today I'm working with the wisdom of the oracle. These are designed to help either confirm your intention or maybe even help you create the intention for this new moon. This is a collective reading, so it may or may not resonate with you, and if it does, please let me know. There are 6 positions, 6 questions, but I don't have room to make the normal circle, so I'll just have them go out. I will shuffle my deck 3 times, and then I'll pull cards from the top. So if you wish to connect with this, whether you're watching this live or on any of the replays, please put connect on the screen so that I know your energy is connecting to mine. So again, this is a new moon intention activation spread for the Aries new moon that happened at 12:23 p.m. on Tuesday, March 21st. I'm looking for 6 cards for this activation for specific questions. The first question is, what do I need to know about the quality of my current intention? The second question is, how do I co-create for my most empowered self? The third question is, what action do I need to take in order to ignite the magic of my intention? The fourth question is, what do I need to do to co-create my highest good at this time? What do I need to do to co-create my highest good at this time? All right, no flying cards this time, so we're going to pick one. And the fifth position is, what is the potential outcome of my intention? And how, if at all, do I course correct to be in better alignment with my intention for my highest good? And that is the card that wants to come out for that. All right, are we ready to hear the intentions? If you are ready, please put ready in the comments while I put on my reading glasses. So I do read from the book because what is said here might resonate more than what I could ever intuit, although I think it's very interesting, the cards that we have in front of us. So the first card asks the question, what do I need to know about the quality of my current intention? And that is the card Truth Be Told, number 14. There is the truth, which is the essence of the thing, and then there is a truth, subjective according to the philosophy of the adherent or the believer. This is not the time to debate about which truth is truer. This is the time when you are called to proclaim your truth out loud and be willing to be transparent, honest, and open with your communication with others and yourself. Nothing less than surrender is what it is. Peeling off the layers of denial will help that kept you tied to an illusion will set you free. Be authentic, glorious, flawed, and spirit will answer with miracles. So it's asking you, what do I need to know about the quality of my current intention? Be honest about yourself. What do you honestly want from things? And be authentic. That is the most important thing. Aries doesn't do anything half-assed. They are a badass. They want to make sure they get stuff done and they get it done well. That's the quality of the intention. If you haven't written one, that's the kind you want to have. Position 2 is, how can I co-create for my most empowered self? And it's in protection mode. It is imagine. So we're going to read the protection message for imagine, which is card number 20. Illusions and wishful thinking rooted in a sense of lack have entered your life. Now might be the time to see things as they truly are, not as how they hoped for or imagined they would be. Realize and release any fear, and then envision anew. Perhaps you are anticipating something fearful that might happen and recreating that image of disaster over and over in your mind. The universe responds to projections, so be aware of its catastrophizing. No matter what, illusions and awfulizing are misuse of imagination. The clear inner state, stay grounded, stay real, only then can you truly have what you desire. So in order to co-create from your most empowered self, become grounded. Become ready to envision new things and let go of things that don't serve you. We talked all about that with this lunation as well. Position 3, what action do I need to take in order to ignite the magic of my intention? Again, this is in protection mode and it's tick-tock, which is number 30. Have you been feeling as if the clock is ticking and gotten a little nervous that your dreams are taking too long to manifest? Well, Aries likes to be impatient. There's nothing to fear. You never will run out of time for important things. The miracles are always yours and yours alone cannot be missed. Isn't that amazing? You are in such capable hands with the guides and angels hovering in the invisible spaces, ensuring your journey will be filled with all sorts of goodies. Let your anxiety be gently dispelled by your faith. Spirit will never deny you your highest good. As long as all is yours in divine, appropriate timing, you can relax. So what do I need to do to co-create? This is, what action do I need to take? You need to relax and let things happen as well. You need to not overanalyze yourself. And know that things sometimes take time. Remember, Aries can be an impatient sign. When you move towards Libra and meeting in the middle, because that's the opposite sign, is Libra and its partnership and remembering that you don't have to do everything alone, that might be where the magic is in this case. So position 4 is, what do I need to know to co-create? So that was the action I needed to take in order to ignite the magic. This is, what do I need to do in order to co-create my highest good at this time, which is mending. Card 52. So mending is, each time we hurt and allow the hurt to pass through us without understanding and integration, we accumulate unwanted burden. This keeps us chained to the very things we need to heal, the pain, the memories, the echoes, the resentments, the arguments that we rehearse over and over again. Now is the time for mending rifts, healing wounds, and letting go of old hurts in order to reclaim your power. Now is the time to forgive, release, make peace, and make amends with others. Set yourself free. So to be able to co-create at your highest good, you need to let go of things that don't serve you. And when it says things like forgive, if the person's really toxic and they really are not worthy to be in your life, you don't have to go to them and ask for forgiveness. I've had those people in my life. I've just written letters saying, I forgive your actions because they were not aligned with mine, and I give them back any energy back to you with love and light. Always give back energy with love and light so it doesn't bounce back onto you in ways that you don't want it to happen. For position 5, what is the potential outcome of our intention? It is come to the edge. Look at how beautiful she's dancing. Perfect Aries energy with dance. So 36, facing the unknown is the only choice if you have it right now, if you want to progress. It's okay to be afraid. Now's the time to take a risk that is not calculated, to feel the exhilaration. You are ready for yourself for a leap of faith. Spirit is present, so let go of fear. You are called to express your true self. Listen to your heart and soul and not your head. Come to the edge and discover you can fly. You must step into the unfamiliar so you can find your miracles. And if you need to course correct, what you need to do in this cycle is called the never-ending story, which is card 37, which is, there is a story woven through imperfect fabric of our life that tells us of hurt and loss and rejection and humiliation, self-loathing and arrogance, and all manner of suffering born unnecessary dramas. It is the old story whose refrain is that you cannot do this, it must not go there, should not say that, lest the world come crumbling down. Today, know that none of this is actually true. The sky is not falling. The voice you hear is just a small, scared, conditioned part of you that got stuck in a lie and wants to protect you and needs you to be seen as a victim. Love that has lost a piece of you. Fear is all that knows. Distorted guidance is preventing you from being your true self. You are not your story, and the narrator is simply the voice of the fearful part of yourself, and the vulnerable, easy to be soothed. So if you need to course correct, ask yourself, is this a fear, and is this real? Because sometimes we get scared and then we cannot move. And it's really hard to move forward if you're afraid. So ask yourself, if you feel stuck, am I stuck because of fear, or is it because of something else? And be curious about it. I invite you in this Aries season to be curious. The more curious you are about your energies and how you can work with them, the more aligned you can become. And if you were a parent watching this, and your children are youngins, they're littles, use the element of fire to motivate your kids, to make them happy. Now, I don't mean you give them fire. That would be not smart, not good. The element of fire is an element of playfulness, joy, celebration, even bragging. It's okay to tell people you're doing a good job. It is okay to tell people you're really proud of yourself for something that you did. And yes, in our society, we're not supposed to do that. But guess what? Sometimes if you don't give yourself props, nobody else will. And it's okay, even if you just write it down. I did really good today. Celebrate you. Celebrating is part of fire energy. Dance, movement, getting outside, having your kids figure out, what do you want to grow in the garden when a garden can happen. Again, I have several feet of snow in my front yard. All of these things happen during Aries season. Now that you know this energy is out there, how are you going to use it? That is my question for you, my friend. If you have found this helpful, please let me know in the comments, either live right now or in the replay. If you find my content to be helpful, inspiring, feel free to follow me on all my platforms, especially in case the clock app where I recorded this in the first place goes away. I'm SRB Stars on all platforms. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. In the link in my bio is my email newsletter sign up, where I also send emails for birthdays as well. And if you're an Aries sun, know that you have a birthday gift for me on my website. I do consultations with individuals and parents who want to learn how to help their children or understand their children to learn their best, to have their best lives. When I was studying astrology, I had both my kids' charts right next to me, and I finally understood why my oldest is the way they are emotionally and why my son is the way he is emotionally, because they have the same sun sign, the same rising sign, but their moons are different. I didn't even know moons existed before astrology birth charts. I only knew about the Libra horoscope. So if that's you and you want to be able to work with me, the information is there for you to do so. I'm at writteninthestars.me, and it would be my honor to work with you to discover more about yourself or your children. I hope this has found you well, and thank you so much for joining.